Picture a world untouched by modern civilization. Rolling hills stretch as far as the eye can see. The air is thick with the scent of wild herbs and sun-baked earth. This is the land of our ancestors, where the story of Genesis 31 unfolds. In the distance, a cluster of tents stands against the horizon. These are not the lightweight shelters we know today. They are sturdy, made of goat hair, held up by wooden poles. Inside, woven rugs cover the ground. Oil lamps flicker, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The village buzzes with life. Women in long flowing robes carry clay jars on their heads. Men in loose tunics lead flocks of sheep and goats. Children play with handmade toys, their laughter echoing across the fields. This is Laban's household, a thriving community in the heart of Mesopotamia. But our story doesn't end here. It stretches across miles of rugged terrain. From the lush pastures of Paddan Aram to the promise of Canaan, it's a journey that will test faith, challenge loyalties, and change the course of history. Are you ready to step back in time, to witness a tale of deceit, pursuit, and ultimate reconciliation? Then let's begin our cinematic journey through Genesis 31. The sun beats down on Jacob's brow as he tends his flock. His eyes, weathered by years under the open sky, scan the horizon. But his mind is elsewhere. He's thinking of home, of the land promised to his fathers. 20 years he served Laban, his father-in-law, 20 years of sweat and toil. Jacob, 20 years. Inside his tent, Rachel and Leah sit in hushed conversation. Their colorful garments adorned with intricate embroidery speak of their status, but their faces betray concern. They've noticed the growing tension between their husband and their father. Something has to give. Rachel, the tension between Jacob and father, it's unbearable. Leah, yes, something must change. Suddenly we hear God's voice. It cuts through the ambient sounds of bleating sheep and rustling grass. Return to the land of your fathers and to your kindred, and I will be with you. The words hang in the air, heavy with promise and command. Jacob's decision is made. As night falls, Jacob gathers his family. The flickering light of oil lamps illuminates their faces. He speaks in low, urgent tones. They must leave, and they must leave now. Jacob, we have to go, tonight. Rachel and Leah nod in agreement. Their loyalty is clear. Rachel, all that God has said to you, do. With these words, the die is cast. The great journey is about to begin. Dawn breaks over the sleeping camp, but Jacob and his household are already awake. They move with quiet urgency, packing their belongings. The air is thick with anticipation and a hint of fear. This is no ordinary journey. This is an escape. Camels grunt as they're loaded with tents and provisions. Sheep and goats are herded together. Children still groggy with sleep are lifted onto donkeys. Every movement is calculated, every sound muffled. They can't risk waking Laban or his sons. Rachel, we must be silent. Every step counts. Rachel moves towards her father's tent. Her heart races. With trembling hands she takes the household gods. These small figurines revered by her father disappear into the folds of her robe. It's a bold move, one that will have far-reaching consequences. As the sun climbs higher, Jacob's caravan slips away. They leave behind empty tents and confused servants. The dust kicked up by their animals hangs in the air, the only evidence of their passing. They've crossed the Euphrates, heading towards the hill country of Gilead, but their journey is far from over. Laban's discovery of their absence is only a matter of time. Rachel, we must keep moving. Laban will soon realize we're gone. And so, the stage is set for a pursuit that will test the resolve and faith of everyone involved. Section 4. Laban's pursuit, a race against time. 3 days pass before Laban realizes what has happened. His face contorts with rage and disbelief. How could Jacob, his son-in-law, his faithful servant, betray him like this? The camp erupts into chaos. Men shout, women wail, children cry in confusion. Laban wastes no time. He gathers his kinsmen, strong men used to the hardships of desert travel. They mount their fastest camels. The chase begins. The landscape blurs as they push their mounts to the limit. Laban's eyes are fixed on the horizon, searching for any sign of Jacob's caravan. 7 days of relentless pursuit follow. The terrain becomes more challenging as they enter the hill country of Gilead. But Laban's determination doesn't waver. He's driven by anger, yes, but also by a sense of loss. His daughters, his grandchildren, even his household gods, all taken without a word of farewell. As night falls on the 7th day, Laban's party makes camp, but sleep eludes the old man. In the quiet of the night, God comes to him in a dream. The message is clear and stern. Laban, as Laban, be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. Laban's anger cools, replaced by a wary caution. Tomorrow he will confront Jacob, but now the outcome of that confrontation has been irrevocably altered. Section 5. Confrontation on Mount Gilead. The next morning dawns crisp and clear. Jacob's camp stirs to life, unaware of the approaching confrontation. Suddenly a cry goes up. Dust clouds on the horizon signal the arrival of riders. Jacob's heart races. He knows this moment was inevitable. Laban and his men thunder into the camp. Their faces are hard, their postures tense. Jacob stands his ground, surrounded by his wives and children. The air crackles with unspoken accusations. For a moment it seems violence might erupt at any second. Laban, as Laban, "What have you done? You've deceived me and carried off my daughters like captives in war." Jacob, as Jacob, "I served you for years, you deceived me time and time again, but God has been with me, protecting me." The conversation ebbs and flows. Accusations are met with counter-accusations. Old grievances are aired. But underlying it all is a grudging respect, a recognition of shared history and blood ties. As the sun climbs higher, it becomes clear that this confrontation will not end in bloodshed. Instead, it will lead to an unexpected resolution. Section 6. The Covenant, a Stone of Witness. As the heated words die down, a new atmosphere settles over the camp. Laban, his anger spent, proposes a covenant. Jacob agrees. It's time to put the past behind them and look to the future. The air hums with anticipation as preparations begin. Jacob takes a stone and sets it up as a pillar. His men gather more stones, piling them into a heap. This simple act carries profound significance. These stones will stand as a witness to their agreement, a boundary marker between their territories. Laban, as Laban. "This heap is a witness between you and me today." Jacob, as Jacob. "Yes, it is a witness." They invoke their respective gods as witnesses. The God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, the God of their father, all are called upon to watch over this covenant. As night falls, they seal the agreement with a feast. The smell of roasted meat fills the air. Wine flows freely. For a moment, the years of tension melt away. Tomorrow, they will part ways. Laban will return to his home. Jacob will continue his journey to Canaan. But this moment, this covenant, will bind them forever. It's a powerful reminder of the strength of family ties even in the face of conflict and betrayal.